Well, good morning. Thank you all for being here. So this week I've been feeling very inspired to talk about peace. So that's what our meditation is going to be focused on today. So what is peace? What is required of us in order to have peace? We know that peace is never dependent on circumstances. It's never dependent on our circumstances being all lined up in the right order, because there's no such thing as a right circumstance. And our circumstances are always changing. So if we're depending on our circumstances to be all perfect, then we're going to have a really hard time, right? This is the analogy Jesus gave when he said, "A foolish man builds his house upon the sand. When the waves come and the wind blows, his house is blown away. But a wise man builds his house upon the rock. So when the wind blows and the waves come, his house shall not be blown away, because he has chosen a firm foundation." And so this concept is reflected in the Advaita Hindu teaching of Maya. The world is Maya. Maya means magic or illusion. And this teaching is often misunderstood to be sort of like a cynical denial of reality in some way. But it's actually pointing to the same truth that Jesus points to in this parable. So I'd like to give you a different idea or a new idea about what it means to say that the world is an illusion, and why it's actually a very empowering and liberating realization that brings peace. So we were given this model, this materialistic worldview from our education system and society and family and friends. Since the time we're born, everyone buys into this model that there is such a thing as mind inside here and matter out there. Mind and matter are independent of one another. But the ironic thing about this materialistic worldview is that scientists have never found matter. All that scientists ever find when they zoom in and look at what we call matter is vibrating photons. All they find is light in some entangled quantum relationship. We've never actually found what we call matter. All there actually is vibrating energy. And our brains interpret this vibrating energy as images, as illusions. And it's not illusions in a cynical way like, we're being bamboozled and hoodwinked by the universe. No, it's meant to be this way to give us this experience for this specific reason, but it's ultimately an illusion in that way. And we know that these photons are brought to life through human consciousness and observation. Yeah? The observer effect. So let's give a practical example. Suppose that my meditation today is extremely boring and you all fall asleep. And while you're asleep in San Jose, you dream of being in, the Bahamas. You like the Bahamas, right? So you dream that you're in the Bahamas, and while you're dreaming, everything is there. All the senses, all the sensations, the palm trees, the sun, the ocean, the sand, the warmth on your skin, and you as the dream character. Everything is there just like in the waking state. And while you're in the dream, being the separate self in the dream, all you can know from that perspective is the dream world. Yeah? Everything appearing to you is happening inside of the dream. But the perspective that you don't have access to is the fact that everything in that dream, the palm tree, the sun, the ocean, the sand, and you, are all equally modulations of one indivisible mind. So my question for you is, how do you know that that's not exactly what's happening now? Because our experience says that it is. when we stick rigorously close to our actual experience of life, disregarding the models we've been taught by society, we find that it is exactly the same experience. All we actually know to our experience is the knowing of it, the awareness of it. Everything is made up of this field, this quality of knowing. So the question of the day for our meditation is, what is that which knows my experience? Don't just ask yourself, but really contemplate this. Really lean into this question. What is it that knows my experience? It cannot be the body, because the body itself is experienced. It cannot be the mind, because the mind is experienced. Or you could say the mind is an experience. Can you find anything in your reality that is not experienced? So what is it that knows all of this? And the name that we give to this knower of experience is I. We refer to that knower as I. And so to know yourself as not the changing, shifting personality or circumstances or thoughts or feelings, but as the screen of awareness upon which everything appears, that is where the foundation, that is the only foundation that true and lasting peace can be built upon. When you contemplate this question in self-inquiry, what is that which knows my experience? The mind is invited to look inwardly in an imageless direction, away from the objects and experiences of the quote-unquote external world, and looking at who is doing the looking. Whenever this awareness is contacted, or you could say whenever it contacts itself, peace is always felt. This is the meditative state, allowing awareness to marinate in itself. And the fragrance that arises out of this is peace. There is something beyond the conceptual mind that is not conceptual. It's not thinking. Therefore, there can only be peace. Because without referencing a thought or a memory, how can you suffer? It's not possible. So this peace is then not a conceptual peace. That's why Jesus called it the peace that passes understanding. Because there's no reason you can point to say, I have peace because of this or that. You can't define why you have peace other than the fact that you aren't referencing anything. And this peace is so amazing because it is not dependent on anything in life. It's not dependent on circumstances. All these things can come and go. Some sadness can be there, some grief can be there, some sorrow can be there. Everything can come and go, but the foundation upon which they come and go is now stable. You've found a peace from within, independent of the external world, that no one can take from you. And you no longer have to search for peace when you know that you are peace. When you know that you are what you are seeking. There is nothing out there that can actually give you anything. Because there is no reality outside of consciousness. There is no reality outside of you. You are the only reality. Nothing can appear outside the field of knowing, and you are the field of knowing. In the same way that in your dream, nothing can appear to you outside of that dream. All there is to the dream is you. The beach, the sun, the palm trees, even the dream character, all are appearing to you. You are that which knows them. So you must be something subtler, yeah? Anything which is perceivable in any way must appear on the screen of awareness, just like anything in a movie has to appear on the screen of the TV. So you are earlier than that which appears, which anything that is perceivable. It is all appearing inside of you. And so right perception or true perception simply means being able to distinguish truth from illusion. This is what is meant by Maya. It's not a cynical denial of reality, but the recognition that everything is God's dream. This recognition brings peace. Because what it does for you is that you lose the ability to take anything too seriously anymore. You see that everything is passing, appearing and disappearing. But what is the one aspect of my experience which does not appear and disappear, which is not passing? And because it's not passing, it passes understanding. So in order to have this peace, you must begin to know yourself as pure awareness, contacted in such a way that is experiential, not conceptual, because again, it's not a concept. So you can understand everything I'm saying intellectually, and that is helpful. But until you actually contact that realization, then you won't really know it yet. You won't really integrate it yet. This idea is meant to lead you to a real experience. So let's all just close our eyes for a moment. To do a quick thought experiment, I want you to visualize in your mind's eye your hand in front of your face, as if you were holding your hand out in front of your face. And I want you to see the color of your skin, the lines in your hands, your fingers. I want you to rub the fingers together and feel the sensation of the skin. Bring it all to life. And then I want you to say in your mind, this is an image that I have made. Now I want you to open your eyes and hold your physical hand in front of your face. And while you're looking at your hand, say to yourself, this is an image that I have made. So that experience in both instances was the same. One was not real and the other unreal. Both are simply modulations of God's infinite mind. And the kicker, you are that. You are that mind. This is how you know I am that which does not come and go. Everything happens inside of me, awareness. The person is a concept, is a construct. You can write about it, you can talk about it, you can manipulate it. The mind is an experience. It is perceived. Even the sleeping and waking states are experienced. But that which knows them does not sleep or awaken. It is ever present. It is unchanging. It is forever beyond what can be experienced. If you can recognize that in yourself, even right now, then this is how you can confirm that you and God are one. Not as a concept or a belief, but as a direct experience. A Course in Miracles puts this beautifully in the opening line of the book. It says, that which is real cannot be threatened. That which is unreal does not exist. And herein lies the peace of God.